That's for us. they can hear. Are we off mute?
Yeah, we're off mute, man.
Hey, folks, welcome to the 21 Gun Compass
Here we go.
podcast. I am your host, Kevin Sullivan. With us, as always, Jeremy Walton running the cameras. We have a great show for you tonight. I believe we have a great show for you tonight. If we had a shitty show, I probably wouldn't tell you. So, or the guests. The guests are sitting in the green room. We'd be like, "What does he mean?" We have a very dull show for you tonight. We're going to read from my favorite book, the Iliad. Homer, page 4.
Homer of the Iliad.
Oh, and if you hear that voice,
They got
Now
black,
you hear the voice.
They got black up tonight.
there we go. We have Black Up with EOD Frank over there. We have, so let's just basically, let's get into it. So, because we got a lot to go over tonight. I hope we get done in time. We got a ton to go over. We're going to have 2 prestigious members of the EOD Warrior Foundation. This is EOD night. This is Explosive Ordnance Disposal night. We also have in studio, which we just introduced, our own EOD Tech U.S. Marine, Frank Easterling. We're honored to have him in studio because a little known fact, he is the recipient of the National Defense Service Medal.
Yo.
Yeah. So we have a war hero in studio. I believe, did you win the Marksman Award too?
Oh, he's a fucking pizza box for sure.
Pizza.
The couch is still bearded, if you're noticing that. Have you noticed the length of my beard? It's getting...
It's shorter?
It's getting there, right?
Getting there.
No, it's not shorter.
Oh, no, it's getting there. You can see like the squareness of it. It's growing really nice.
I suffered just for you guys, and I have a stubble.
Well, I had a note in here. I had a note here to bring up that you're not allowed on the couch, just as a child isn't allowed to play with a firearm. It's a safety thing. You don't have the beard, you don't have the experience or the testosterone. But now this doesn't mean
on that couch.
This doesn't mean with a little bit of training you can't move over to the bearded couch. But we got to have some unbearded people. We got to have some estrogen. That's how I feel come into the show, just to kind of
break up the monotony.
We tried, but she's currently making dinner at home.
Who's that? Oh,
Shamaya.
She was trying. She'll be here soon.
Yeah, I called her out. She's gonna be like, "You motherfucker."
Nice. Also, hey, I was wondering why it was so quiet. I got to put my other earpiece in. We also have Kavika Castellano. I don't have his first name. That's like, I think that's his middle name he goes by, but it's a really cool name. It's about as ethnic as my son, who is Matteo Sullivan, and it sounds like, never mind. It sounds like really Irish as it gets. Maybe not. He's going to be joining us remotely here in just a few minutes to talk about the Spokane hike. I spent a lot of time in the mountains of Spokane for SEER School. I don't know if you guys are familiar with SEER School. Did EOD have to do any SEER School training?
No. Oh. And I don't know anybody. I don't know why people would want to do SEER.
I'm hands down. I mean, I know they taught me how to fly airplanes and stuff, and that's pretty top notch, but hands down, SEER was the best training I ever received.
I got survive, evade,
rescue, and escape.
So I gotta say, I've been to Sears, and I swear to God, they have the best clothing.
Okay, hold on. Oh, do you know what? I don't have it up.
Yes.
Do you know what? I'm gonna put it up here.
You got away with one.
No, he didn't. He's
You're
because anyone
who not gonna give him a mulligan on that one? Nope.
Not even a mulligan. Man.
Willie. That's so. Anytime for anyone who's just watching this cluster F, anytime someone says a joke that just completely fails, we play this.
That was not a fail. That was perfect.
Bonk.
That was perfect.
Poor Willie. That became famous
Shot
last week.
And miss.
But fails by whose standard?
Whose standard of what? Oh, mine. I'm in charge of my
He's
show.
an officer. Yeah, he's an officer. He's like, I run this shit.
I laugh at just about everything. And if I can't laugh at something,
you
then
chuckled,
you're getting.
and you were like, let's play it anyway.
Anyways, what else about Kavika? Served in the U.S. Army 14 years. Kavika. And currently serves as a firefighter for Spokane. We just had, Kavika, when we have you on in a second, we had Jason Patton last week or 2 weeks ago or a month ago. Geez, I don't know anymore.
3 weeks ago.
From the Fire Department Chronicles. Very funny guest. Check him out if you want. Next week on 527, we have double guests. We have the VA coming on. We have 2 people from the VA coming on to talk about their PTSD and their COVID. And they got a bunch of apps. They have a bunch of apps that they're launching. So that'll be next week. It's going to be packed. Literally, we're going to have to just go into interviews. So I don't have anyone on the couch. If you want to come and hang out, by all means.
Even just a bullshit, just to hang out.
Yeah.
Say a couple of bad jokes so Kevin can.
So I can do that. So I can use my new toy. We also have Andrew Biggio. He's going to talk about his upcoming book, The Rifle. But here, pull that up. That book looks really cool. It drops in June. Basically, what this guy did is he told the stories of the few remaining. Can you blow up that the rifle on the cover there? Actually, do you want to scroll down? Scroll down.
Yes,
look
Dad.
at that rifle. See the old guy right there? Kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but if you kind of blow that up, you do the pinch and roll if you have an itch. Pinch and picked up on that.
Wow.
So
let's confuse all the females on the feed.
You can't
Jesus.
you can't see in that rifle there. But what he did is he went around and he got some of the few remaining World War II guys to tell their stories, and he says through the rifle. So I think it's behind the M1, like M1 stories. And if you can see on it, it's signed by like hundreds of World War II vets. That thing is so cool. So he's going to come on and talk about that. Book drops in June. He's also raffling, and I'm going to get that information out to you as soon as possible. He's raffling a M1, I believe, that was signed by Woody Williams.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. Woody Williams, U.S. Marine Corps, checking flames on Iwo Jima. We have 3 hikes coming up in... No, I'm sorry. We have 3 dates with 7 hikes coming up. We had the Knoxville guy on last week, 2 weeks ago. I don't remember anymore. May 22nd is Knoxville. May 29th, Spokane. I still don't know. Spokane, Washington. We're going to have Kavika on tonight, talk about that. May 29th, we have Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we had Molly on last week to talk about that. Molly, that's how I say it. It's a New England accent. Speaking of New England, Milford, Mass, May 29th. Hey, if you know someone from the Milford, if you guys know somebody from the Milford area, have them call me.
God.
Have them send me a text or something, maybe an email. I don't know. For the life of me, I can't get in touch with anybody from Milford. I have no idea what's going on up there.
Hold on, that's where you have your Sherpa here. You got. I got you. See, I'm doing it on purpose because I want to hear it. Thank you. Thank you.
Poor Willie.
That's what I'm looking for.
Poor Willie. Yeah, no, seriously. If you guys know whoever's running Milford, I've sent a bunch of emails, but no one's getting back to me. Maybe that's a hint. June 12th, Wilmington, North Carolina. We're actually going to have the person here in studio. Hopefully, Matt, don't call him Matt, Matthew James Reeves in studio. We're also going to be broadcasting live from the hike, and this is going to be fun. What we want to do is kind of like a college football, you know how they have the
game day type shit.
So I'm going to set up with the people in the background and the Silkies. I have no idea. It might completely suck. And for you West Coast people, it's going to be on at like 4 a.m. Maybe we'll do it at 9, 8 or 9. What's jump off time? Probably 10.
I think 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh, really? That early?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's only like a 6-mile hike, so.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out.
It's got to be because it's going to get hot by like 10. So,
but you're by the ocean. Regardless, we're going to be going live. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be the first time we did that. So June 12th, Colorado Springs. June 12th, Galveston, Texas. What else? Big announcement. Big. Can you bring up number 4?
Ooh, man,
if you watch this show at all, you know that I'm a big advocate for traumatic brain injury. I've interviewed a ton of people about it. I mean, go to 21gun, spelled out, 21gun.net, and take a look at the archives. I have an interview with Mark Gordon, Andrew Marr, Jerry Scher, who made a movie about Mark Gordon and Andrew Marr's protocol. Of course, myself, I've been through the protocol. Dr. Gordon has been gracious enough to donate TBI protocols to the Irreverent Warriors. And believe it or not, we already have 3 people signed up. We have 2 more slots. Just let me read right here so I don't forget anything here.
If you buy 2 hoodies, you're on. I'm just kidding.
No. It's no charge to you. This is thousands of dollars worth of treatment. It's the only thing you have to do is you don't have to give blood. You don't have to do any of that. If you do his intensive program, they take blood and they do all that stuff. But this is kind of like a step down approach. You just have to fill out a questionnaire every month saying how you feel. So if you are interested in that, and people are like, well, what does that mean? TBI. I mean, I got knocked out once, but I was never diagnosed. Okay, do you have headaches, nightmares, anxiety, history of drug or alcohol abuse, no current drug or alcohol abuse, low libido, depression, insomnia, joint pains, muscle aches, memory, tinnitus, brain fog, mood swings? I mean, it's a mile long. Have you ever been diagnosed with PTSD? Sometimes that's a missed chance to diagnose TBI. So anything like that, or you just happen to have your head knocked in a few times and you've been unconscious and you have these symptoms, send me an email. Write it down. If you know somebody like this, send me an email, kevin@21gun.net. I'll just talk with you. We're going to try to get 2 more people onto that program. You can't be on You can't be on any more than 3 meds, and you can't be taking opioids as one of those medications. So yeah, let me know. The protocol itself is pretty incredible. It's been refined over the last 26 years. It's been used to successfully treat thousands of veterans. Dr. Gordon's protocol has been highlighted on the Joe Rogan podcast like 5 times. There it is, actually, on the corner there. If you guys are ever wondering what this is all about, I mean, sure, go listen to my podcast because, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan tries.
Just things.
Yeah. But if you're so inclined, check out episode 1589 right there with Joe Rogan. That kind of explains a lot of this stuff. So yeah, reach out, change your life. I don't know. Can I announce it? Jeremy is going to be one of the people that are going to be on the program. So what we're going to do is do kind of like a weekly update for that. What time is it? 8:10?
It's the only experimental thing that I will be a part of.
It's technically... No, it's not really experimental, although it is an ongoing study. What are you looking at?
For those who know. See, I'm not... Never mind. That was a vaccination.
Yeah, I was... I caught it. I was just...
Oh, it didn't even play. Oh, you got it?
I was waiting to see if he was going to get it, and he didn't. So.
Let's stop picking on Jeremy. Let's bring on Kavika, because we got people to talk to.
How's it going, man?
What's happening, Kavika?
He doesn't want to talk to you anymore, Jeremy.
How's it going?
Not bad. So we already kind of talked about it, but I like to get a little bit of background on everyone who comes on the show. So when did you join the Army? What was your MOS, and what years were you in?
So I joined in 2000, and I got out about 2014. I served both short range air missile defense and in the infantry.
Oh, nice. Kind of like what we're seeing a lot of right now with the Iron Dome sort of thing. That must be right up your alley. You're like, I know that shit. I know that guy. Do you ever deploy or anything like that?
Yeah, I did a couple of rounds in Afghanistan, a couple of rounds in Iraq. It's
yeah.
It was definitely a lot of fun.
Sure. Another recipient, everyone, of the National Defense Service Medal. We have two.
Overseas service as well.
Two. Oh, wow.
Super prestigious, no big deal, fellas.
Save some for the rest of us, Jesus.
Got to build up that fruit salad, man. Got to build up that
That's
fruit
right.
salad.
When did you personally first discover Reverent Warriors?
It was actually a few years ago. It was during the Seattle, during the first Seattle hike. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go. I don't remember the reason why it was.
It was raining.
You know what? That might be a very strong possibility. Nonetheless, my family and I moved to Spokane a couple of years ago, and a couple other veteran buddies that live out here. Well, we decided to see if we can develop a hike here in Spokane, and it worked. It totally panned out. So we're going into our third hike now.
Oh, nice. What have you seen IW do for hikers, people that actually have been going to the hikes, have been going to Spokane individually, like just about that hike specifically?
So here, one of the biggest things that I've seen with the hikes in general is the camaraderie. Now, when I say that's a term that's thrown around a lot, but when I say that, I mean this in this way. You take a whole bunch of random veterans and you put them together, no matter if they know each other or not. Just that community alone, you just build like this automatic bond. It happens like that.
Yeah.
Right? Now, as any other veteran getting out of the military would know that the transition at times can be kind of lonely, very confusing. It's a daunting task, because you're transitioning back into the civilian world where the thought process is completely different.
Yeah. So
to be able to link up with other veterans, other people with that same mindset that has gone through the same struggles as you have, has done wonders. Now, in the last 3 years, just in the last 3 hikes that I've been on, just meeting all these people from all over the place that have migrated to Spokane. Now, Spokane's not a very big city by no means, but just to come all the way out here for a hike and to meet other veterans and to network and develop camaraderie and new friendships, that's something you cannot replace.
Oh, agreed. Hey, here's a question. Do you ever see the SEER buses driving around? Do you ever see that? Because this is one thing I remember about Spokane is we went from the Air Force Base and they put hoods over our heads and like,
Whoa.
no, come on. No, they were... They were burlap sacks.
You have to be careful how you word things,
yes,
Kevin.
21st century. 2021 is rough. And we had to put our heads like against the chair in front of us, but it was an open bus. I mean, there were windows, and I'm like, what are the people driving around?
Read the room, bro. Hoods. Read the
room. They were no eye holes cut out. It was just the hoods.
So blind? Oh my God, it's fucked up, man.
Hey, we are rooting out extreme.
Surprisingly, no. And maybe it's because they're moving them around in the middle of the night.
Oh, that could be it. That could be it.
And now that you mentioned it, I figured that I would see them because my jurisdiction with the fire department kind of covers the Fairchild area. But
okay.
No, I haven't seen. Actually, I have not seen those magic buses.
They keep it pretty hush hush. A lot of that is still what do they call that? Classified, secret, whatever. Training. I don't remember.
Quiet.
So let me tell you about it. No, I'm just kidding. FBI. So tell us about your hike. Weather-wise, COVID-wise, all that good stuff. Because it's in less. No, it isn't. It's in a little more than a week.
Yeah, it's a little over a week away, and the weather is actually predicted to be pretty good right now. Now, when we tell people that we're in Washington, automatically people resort to Seattle. Oh my God, it's raining, it's going to be gloomy. Not necessarily here in Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington's kind of a whole other world in comparison to the Seattle area. We actually have all 4 seasons here.
Yeah. Isn't there like a desert between Spokane and Seattle? I drove to Seattle when we were finished Sears School, and I feel like I drove through a desert of some sort.
Yeah, there are parts. There are desert parts of Eastern Washington. Yakima, Walla Walla.
Okay.
Spokane is like the last major city before hitting Seattle, and it's roughly about a 5.5 hour drive. And you still got to go over the Cascade Mountains and a whole bunch of farmland.
Cool.
So as far as our hike goes, we still have COVID protocols in place, but they have loosened up. Fortunately, our state governor he says that he's trying to, completely open our state by June. So fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
Weather-wise, like I said, we're gonna have it's projected to have really good weather, lots of sun, and Spokane's they're really strong with a veteran presence and veteran support. We're projected to have a lot of support out there from the local population.
Nice, awesome. Nice. When is the meet and greet, and where are people going to meet for that? Where are people going to meet for the meet and greet?
Where are they going to meet for the meet and greet?
Yeah. Wow. Type of meet where we'd be meeting at the meet and greet. Okay, wait. No, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll
do it.
I'll do it.
For yourself.
Oh, Willie.
That'll make me laugh.
That's never going to get old.
I know. Oh, Willie. Willie just got topped by a 50 PMG. Willie shakes it off. He's a champ. If you ever watch that full video, he's like, am I bleeding? And they're like, nope. No. We shouldn't do that again. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
So our meet and greet is actually going to be the night before. Let's see. It's going to be the night before. Our meet and greet location is actually to be determined at the moment. Hopefully, we'll have that answer in the next day or two.
Okay. Very good. Well, man, if you can think of anything else other than that, thanks for coming on. I wish you all the luck and success on that trip. That hike.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Look forward to it. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Are you familiar with Kentucky Ballistics?
Actually,
that dude, he got messed up pretty bad. His mini blew up on him.
Yeah, on the neck. Yeah.
Do you know what's weird is I was going to buy that. It's a serbo. It's what do they call that? A break action 50, which is crazy, right?
Wait, a break action?
A break action 50, yeah. And you put it in battery with like a blasting cap, right? You put the 50 in there, you screw this thing down, and then the firing pin's inside the cap, and then you close the action, and there's 2 ears that come up. So you got these 2 ears and the cap
that keeps like all that. 80,000 psi to prevent that from opening up, and that thing exploded.
Well, I went to Serbo's website, so to kind of catch everyone up on there, he's shooting slap rounds, and these are counterfeit. Old. They were counterfeit, so they looked at a picture of them, and it's missing like all the telltale signs of real ones. There's no crimping around the neck. There's like a sleeve that goes up. There weren't scores in the sleeve, whatever. So it was just way overpowered, or. I don't know. So it explodes, and it sent one of those ears. It sent the cap into his eye, and that into his ears, severed his jugular, stuck his thumb in it.
Just the entire time. You want to put your thumb out? No.
Yeah. Nope. I wouldn't want to do that. Wow. But yeah, I was going to buy that. That just reminded me of it because we were showing that. And now I'm like, and now they say, all right, this gun has been fired millions of times, right? The Serbu 50 cal. It's a freak accident. Just shoot regular stuff. But still, I don't think I could fire it without thinking about having one of those things just fly through my neck.
He's like, I'm just going to put like a pillow here and pray to God something. Or
put
just
Kevlar
jacket right here.
Pillow,
shoot from behind a tree with the...
That's what I meant.
But I honestly think, it's a freak accident, but it's crazy. Needless to say, I took myself off that waiting list. I figured, we get there's a few things. You get the, what's that, the COVID check or whatever. So what do you do with the COVID check? No, the money, the COVID money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you do with the COVID money?
The stimmy?
You buy guns, you buy ammo, you buy...
So, if back in my old life, what I would have done
dinner.
with that stimmy is, God only knows, probably would have put a few young ladies through, fund their education.
College.
But being, a married man and a father, it's, tuition for the kids and mortgage.
Oh, you did the right responsible thing.
He's like, thanks guys, I'm gonna be responsible. Everyone's like, whiskey, ammo, and guns.
5,000 rounds. So I figured, what would piss them off more than to use that to buy ammunition?
We need this and this and this. Here's money. Let's go exactly what you don't want.
We're a little early, and I realized because I didn't talk about my number one thing. So obviously.
Here we go.
What are two things, right? So I never rode my bike across Spokane.
Fuck it.
No, I never rode it across Spokane.
I wait. You know what? I was gonna say something, and then I waited, and I was gonna see if you were gonna catch on to it. I was gonna say it.
It's one area I haven't rode. It's one state I haven't rode my bike through. However, we'll talk about the other thing that I always talk about. Okay, do you know what should be it? Come on, this should be number one news story every single day. It should be everything everyone talks about. It's the aliens. And yeah, so there's a couple things. Well, first let me show you this. And I'll fast forward a little bit.
U.S. Navy personnel 2 years ago shows an unknown sphere that followed a Navy warship before disappearing into the ocean.
Did you guys see
the video? Provides the latest glimpse into an ongoing Pentagon investigation into UFOs.
No. Watch it. He'll show you. They have the George Knapp coast to coast. Hold on, let me.
5 U.S. Navy warships based in San Diego was itself under surveillance. Sphere that traveled alongside the Omaha for about an hour. It was pitch black outside, so the image was obtained via a thermal sensor. Personnel in the command center made multiple recordings of what was on the screen.
It followed them. It wasn't just floating along.
At 11 p.m., the unidentified sphere seemingly vanished into the ocean.
Splashed. When they say splash, that doesn't mean there was a physical splash.
Isn't that crazy?
Goes into the water.
So yeah, that's new. And then 60 Minutes just did a special last week, and I watched that today. And same sort of thing. Lou Elizondo, I believe his name is. He used to be part of the Pentagon's program, and he talks about that this has been happening daily for years. They had a Navy pilot on, and the Navy pilot's like, yeah, we see it every day. We go up there and there'd be something chasing us every day. One of them got into a dogfight with him. Another one, it went from 80,000 feet to sea level in a second.
So are they keeping up international relations?
Yeah. Another one, they had a secret rendezvous point, right? It was just a checkpoint that they were going to go to. And the thing
was waiting there for him. Yeah,
waited there for him. And it got there in 2 seconds. It was 60 miles away. I mean, come on. And it's not like they're seeing it. They're seeing it. The radar's seeing it. The Navy, there was a sub that tracked it. There's like multiple confirmations on this thing. What the hell? And they're like, well, it might be the Russians or the... Okay, if the Russians have something that can go from the atmosphere to sea level in 1 second, we're done.
Well,
we're done.
And to put on my like tinfoil hat here for a second, and my sister is watching this, she's gonna think I'm crazy. Shout out to my big sister Keisha. So to put the tinfoil hat on for just a second, the hubris of the human to think that through us being here in this infinitesimal, we're just so small in this huge universe, and it's just us.
Yeah, no,
literally just us.
I have one question. Did they ride their bike across the universe to get here?
Jeremy, you were pushing it.
You were pushing it.
You were pushing it.
Did you bring your towel?
So I had to play that. That was something I had to talk about because you guys should be watching this closely. And in June, they're going to let out a lot of information. That's like, I think it was Mark Rubio put on there was some, I think it was the last stimulus.
Marco?
Yeah. One of the last stimulus checks. He's like, okay, we'll do that. But you got to release all this information they know about UFOs. We should
have let those people invade Area 51. We'd have known much sooner.
That's true.
And that was the day of my first hike was when they invaded.
Seriously?
Tinfoil hat, but she's probably not wrong. Miss Shemaya. We are in someone's locker. I don't doubt it.
That's true. Well, they had
Men in Black type.
Joe Rogan had some guy on that he worked for the Defense Department, and he said his idea is that these things have been here for 100,000 years, and they're underground or underwater because you can't really. And they're just probes. They pop up, they do some testing, and then they land. And
You're
it's
like,
just
look at these fucking idiots.
Well, they're checking like atmosphere. They're checking all this stuff and just sending it back to whatever. I don't know. Like it sounds crazy to say it, to talk like this, but there's something going on. But what does that have to do with EOD? Nothing.
Everything with the military. Like, oh my God, look, they made officers. God, they're really devolving.
All right.
You got to get to the point where you have to stop saying, well, it can't get any worse than this, or it can't be that stupid.
Yeah, it sure fucking can.
People are taking that as a personal challenge.
All right. We should bring on, we got to move right along because we're going to come down to time. Yep. We have two members of the EOD Warrior Foundation. They are a nonprofit organization whose mission is to improve the quality of life for the EOD family by providing educational, financial, and emotional support. EOD stands for Explosive Ordnance Disposal. The disarming, we've gone through this. I can't read out loud. The disarming and disposal of bombs. EOD techs are highly trained military members serving in the Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, all branches, except Coast Guard. Are there any Coast Guard EODs?
Not that I'm aware of.
They just call the Navy. EOD profession is one of the most dangerous occupations in the military. So let's bring on our featured guests, Sherri Beck and Melissa Tackett. So I was trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. We'll just quickly, Sherri is the director of program. She spent, I don't know actually how many years as a milspouse. I think she did a full career. I think her husband's full career as a milspouse of an EOD tech.
She's a tough one.
We also have
she's a tough one.
Melissa Tackett, who is director of memorial care and events and has a hell of a Navy career. If you hear her career, she's a torpedoman's mate. Do you know what's weird about the Navy is like that's probably not even pronounced that way. It's like because you see like boatswain, they're like no, it's boatswain. You're like okay, coxswain. No, they don't have coxswains in the
coxswains.
But not in the Navy. There's no guy sitting in the back going. Stroke, left, come left. Maybe in the Navy.
Right.
Deep sea diver and EOD tech. So just real quickly here, because we have two people, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a couple rounds of questions just to kind of find out the background of both Sherri and Melissa, and then we'll talk about their involvement with the EOD Foundation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So welcome aboard. I'll use Navy terms because we have a squid. Welcome aboard, Sherri and Melissa.
She's literally never heard that before.
I just saw her roll her eyes.
The look on their face, I think that needs a shot and a miss for that one.
The look on their face is like, what did we get ourselves into? Listen, guys, it's in the title, Irreverent Warriors.
Exactly.
So, Sherri, let's start with you.
It's totally fine.
Oh, okay. Are we getting a weird lag? I don't know. Maybe we're not. Okay, so you met your husband when he was in EOD school. Did you know what you were getting into at that point?
Had no idea. No idea.
Welcome.
I didn't even know what EOD stood for initially.
That's funny. Well, we used to always joke about in the flying community that we all married up. And it was because of our flight suits, not because of our looks. We were just like, the flight suits got the ladies. But I don't know. Well, I was going to say, did the uniform, was that part of the deal?
Well, he was definitely very fit, and he still is very attractive. But UDTs were really, he looked really good at.
So her answer is yes.
Yes.
My man is hot.
Yes.
In general, do you think that people understand, when I say people, I mean just, civilians, military alike, understand the daily lives of military spouses?
I think it varies, honest to goodness. I would like to think there's a level of understanding. It's very, very different. I think in civilian life to be a military spouse, I think some of the challenges I had and a lot of questions I had was like, how do you deal with deployments? How do you do everything by yourself? And you just do it. So I think it's definitely a culture that you just get used to and a lifestyle. But as far as civilians understanding, I think there's a little bit of a disconnect, but I definitely feel like we are making progress in just bringing awareness to not only the military spouses, but military servicemen and women also.
Right. We have some friends over at the Behind the Service podcast. I actually sent you an email today introducing to them because I think they would love to hear your story. But what they say is they describe being a mil spouse as staying up at night and praying, filling out mountains of endless paperwork, scouring the internet for researching experimental services. Do you agree with that sentiment, and would you add anything to it?
Well, for me, my husband's been retired for 15 years, so I think what our military spouses go through and do now are very different than what my experience was. Certainly, technology has improved all of those resources. I think there's more of a community also through social media and that sort of thing. So I think that's probably very helpful too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's amazing how much time flies, right? I got out in 2007 and I still feel like I just got out. I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate to these young guys who are still in it. It's like, nope. Hey, fellow teenagers. It's like, no, there's 15, I guess that would be 14 years ago. Holy mackerel. So yeah, pretty close. We've been out, I guess the same amount of time. What are deployments like for civilians? Or mil spouses in particular?
Well, typically for the Navy, because I was Navy, it was a 6-month deployment. And it's just, it's a different adjustment. You just have to learn to fill your time. If you have children, then certainly that takes a lot of your time. If you're not your family, then you just kind of fall into additional family that you never thought you'd have in your life, but suddenly you become friends with other people who are going through the same thing. But I would say, the deployment for me, he was out to sea, so it wasn't in Afghanistan or Iraq. So I think that's very different than what our military spouses are going through now. But I can certainly appreciate the scary times and the uncertainty and not waiting for a letter to come, which we would number our letters and all of that sort of thing, do tape recordings and stuff like that. So I think, again, technology has played a huge role in how military spouses were in my day versus how they do things now. So sure. Skype and all those things are just fantastic.
Yeah, when I was deployed, my stupid co-pilot, he used to get up every night at like 2 a.m. to go call his wife. And I was like, you son of a bitch, if you do that, it's going to get around that we have access to a phone.
That's right.
At 2 a.m. And now we all have to go. Yep. So I was like, we came to agreement. I'm like, every other day, just do it every other day because I got to sleep. But it makes sense. My brother-in-law, he just retired as a lieutenant colonel. He deployed, I don't know, a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And again, this is 10 years since the last time I deployed. And it might be his rank too, but he had internet in his room. He could just Skype his kids, but it's also technology has gotten to the point where, you're right. People can just stay in touch so easily.
Well, rank also has its privileges, as you know.
That's true. That's true.
You're not going to be a Lance Cooley out here going.
Yeah. You have to wait in line. No, listen. When we
my last deployment at EOD, we had our own computers and rooms with internet. So
yeah. Well, yeah. It's the what I like to call
Jeremy,
the privileged.
Some of us saw combat.
The privileged MOSs, right?
Jeremy,
the flyers. The flyers were like we had. Hard billets and same thing. It was like, we got a little thing. Okay. So our organization, Reverent Warriors, we focus on preventing veteran suicide. Military family members are the first line of defense in noticing signs of struggle, substance abuse, depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, whatever it is. How does a spouse address this? How does a spouse, gosh, I don't know if I said that right, address this with his or her veteran or active duty service member? And how do you tell if there's even an issue?
Wow. I think from our perspective, because of how our process works, is when people contact us for, support resources and that sort of thing, as a spouse, right? As a spouse, but even a spouse will contact us and ask for those sorts of things. So I think you just start with allowing them to tell the story and allowing them to tell what's going on and helping them direct their veteran or service member to the right resources and giving them more resources than they actually need, but giving them choices. Sure. But also providing some level of support for them too. It's important to recognize that they too are stressed and their children may be stressed.
Yeah. And that was going to be something else I asked. So, we talk about transitioning into the civilian world for service members is like the biggest stumbling point. Kavika just told us that, or reminded us of that. What sort of toll does separating active duty take on a mil spouse? So I assume it's very similar because you're going from something you're familiar with, language that you're familiar with, people that you're familiar with, and suddenly you are out and about. You're no longer on base. You're no longer that whole web of connections just disappears.
I would agree with that. I think that's a valid statement that spouses absolutely feel a disconnect too when their husbands or wives separate from the military service. You just have to get involved in your community. You have to keep realizing that the military is still there in support of you. It's just maybe not on the base that you were living at and those sorts of things. But you kind of have to look at it as a new adventure and just something new and exciting to do. I mean, and if you really like it. Yeah, and if you're still in a good relationship with said spouse, or said service member, then you hope, this is just the next chapter. So I just encourage people to look at it like, just try to be positive.
Sure.
Just try to stay positive.
Jeremy said we have a question from one of the viewers.
So CJ Frost asks, what resources does the EOD Warrior Foundation recommend and where can you find the information?
Well, CJ, we'll get to that. That's hey, do you know how I know him? Do you want to know how I know him?
Don't you fucking dare.
Hey, we rode our bikes across.
I'm officially quitting. I'm logging out.
That is how I know him. Yeah, we'll get to that, Chris, in just a minute, because we're going to get into the OD thing in the bottom. Okay, Melissa. You originally joined the Navy to have an adventure. I assume this was pre 9/11? Uh-oh.
If she can move a little closer, we can't really hear her.
Yeah, we can hear her. Why can't we hear her? But we can hear...
Yeah. We can't hear her at all. Maybe if you guys switch seats?
Oh, sure.
That's so weird. We can hear Sherri. We can hear you loud and clear. We couldn't...
Yeah, it's...
Or do you guys had...
I just want to look at my boobs.
You know what?
That's a Navy gal right there.
That's not our fault.
Okay, now can you switch back? No, I'm just kidding. Why is that? Why do you have sound? But
I'm not agreeing to that because I'm not getting in trouble.
It might be the microphones on this side. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's really weird.
Oh yeah, see now we can't hear. Now we can't hear Sherri at all.
Gosh, that's the first time that's ever happened. So yeah, I assume this was pre 9/11, and what we thought you said was, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I graduated. I'm sorry. I joined the Navy in 1987. I actually joined in 1986 as the delayed entry program, but that 1 year didn't really count for anything. But I knew, coming from a small farm town, I was going to join the military. When I was a freshman in high school, I knew I was going to join the military. So I got out and ran as fast as I could.
Yeah, and that's one of the we talk about that a lot, is because it's. Like we just mentioned, it's been 20 years since 9/11, right? This year. And so it seems like the majority of the veterans that are vocal and young and out there are all post 9/11 veterans. Yep. Mm-hmm. The other ones, I don't know, especially on the hike, I see that. I'm technically a pre 9/11 veteran. I joined like a month before 9/11. But still, another big thing I like to bring up is the motivation to join, right? So in 86, 87, Vietnam was still very much on people's minds. Did many of your I don't know what you'd call it, your cohort from school, your other friends, did many of them join, or was it just you?
No, there were very few of us. I would say maybe 2 or 3 out of my graduating class joined the service. I can remember. I'm the only one that actually, no, there were 2 of us that stayed to retirement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but there were a few of us, and there was really nothing for there, and we needed to get out and see the world. My mom would always say, "Go see the world," but I think she meant as an airline stewardess. I was very happy when I joined the Navy, and then very mad. My very first vacation was the Philippines when I was 18 years old, Subic Bay along a Post City.
Good Lord, the PI. Yeah. I've heard a lot of stories from Marines about the PI. I've never actually.
I had a lot of fun stories with Marines in the PI. I married a Marine when I was in the Philippines, but it's where I met my first EOD tech.
Cool.
That's where I first learned about EOD.
So let's start with that. Welcome. So you were a God damn it! You were a torpedo. Okay, right.
Torpedo men's mate.
So you were that. Were you on subs, or did destroyers have those? What were you on?
Well, when I was in the Philippines, I was at a depot. So the ships would come in with their torpedoes, and we would take them all apart and get them, and we'd give them fresh torpedoes. So you had to constantly open the auto fuel plant and warheads. When I left there, I went to an actual testing range, so I would keep torpedoes, and we took a sub 2 on a surface.
Lean forward a little bit if you can.
Yeah, we just lost your audio.
Is that better?
Not really.
I don't know how to make it better.
There you
go. Here, yeah, I don't know. I think you're kind of lagging a little bit. The internet signal is very good.
I think it's the moving back and forth and away from the computer.
Yeah, maybe that
the
could be
computer's
it.
trying to catch up every time.
Do more of
like that. Not like that. See, you're going to get me in trouble.
Come on, this is a family show.
You have to understand.
Jump up and down. No, it's
you invited an EOD tech onto your show.
Yeah, you did.
What I'm trying to explain, and there's a couple things you don't do with the EOD techs. One, you don't bet an EOD tech. Because the tech already knows the answer, and you will lose. Never dare an EOD tech, and never play gay chicken with an EOD tech.
Oh, no.
No. Sorry, we're jarheads. We always play gay chicken, and we always win.
Because you're gay.
My girlfriend here in the chat would say otherwise.
That's not what you said the other day.
No, that's not what you said.
Look, you kissed me.
Yo, I went 90, you came 10.
Who touched the other person's back of the head? Who did that?
I did the small of the back. I was a gentleman.
Oh, good Lord. Come on, we have a prestigious organization here. Okay. Let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, so your interactions with the EOD. So it sounds like it's almost like a mechanic, because these are vessels in and of themselves, these torpedoes. So you're a mechanic really for torpedoes. There's munitions involved as well. Did the EOD work with you with those munitions? How did that happen?
We were a lot of their training. We would pretend like we dropped a warhead and it cracked open and there were explosives everywhere, auto fuel everywhere, and the EOD techs would have to come in and save the day. I always enjoyed being the wounded person, and they would have to, carry me out or, do some heroic thing. So, but that was my first, I actually got my sea daddy from the EOD community in the Philippines, and he, tried to convince me to go EOD, and I was just young, and I didn't think I was, for one, mature enough or responsible enough, and it frankly kind of scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And I became a single parent, and I decided to go Navy diver instead. So as a hard hat diver, just as like a baby step. Let me see what this whole special
baby step
was. It was a baby step. So
it's like I was an astronaut.
I said that. don't
that's
tell my brothers.
Because from what I understand, that's like a whole subculture in and of itself. You're Navy divers.
God, I loved it. Loved it.
What's his name? The actor there. He was a Navy diver.
QB dude.
QB. The story about Carl Bashir.
Yes, there you go. So when you say hard hat diver, you wore that old school like metal stuff and just went under?
That guy's, his name's Jake, and we took him away in 1985, so I never got to dive him. But I dove other ones that are now gone, like the Mark 12, which is no longer a rig, and a lot of other rigs that are like, these are old, put them away. And I'm like, but I spit in that. I peed in that. So
do you know what's funny? I have this. So my respect to deep sea divers, any type of diver, is through the roof because there's another running joke on the show. I am completely terrified of black water, like that whole dark.
I love it.
Oh God, it scares the shit out of me. Jeremy, pull up number 4. No, whatever
That's
it is.
my happy spot.
Oh, watch. Jeremy will pull something up, and this will start to make me sweat, which is weird because I love heights. Not much scares me except.
And I don't much care for jumping out of an airplane.
Yeah, neither do I.
We already played
the pilots. The pilots took
try number
off
5.
in
It
the
says
plane.
YouTube.
They can land with me in the plane.
That's right.
That's the
right.
deal.
Do you see, Jeremy? It says. I can do it.
I think I missed that one.
I can do it. Hold on. Watch this. This is how we.
So while you're searching for that, I'm going to tell you a funny story. Okay.
Yes, go for it.
In the diving community, we always wore blue and gold shirts, and you would wear blue and gold specific shirts. And we had to stop wearing the blue and gold that said "Fly Navy, divers need the work."
Yes,
that makes sense. Jeremy, if you look at Melissa's questions, it's right in the middle. I didn't number it. That's why.
Oh, that's why I missed it because you gave me the wrong information.
Were you Indian River or were you Eglin? I'm assuming
Indian Head.
Indian Head. Yeah, Indian Head. So much respect.
We're not allowed to say that either. So we're not allowed to say that we got Indian Head.
So I don't think you guys understand exactly how badass this woman is. So EOD in and of itself is already small.
Okay.
It's already small. It's already tiny. It's already its own little subculture. We have our own traditions, our own jokes, our own everything.
I got it.
And a lot of the older texts kind of paved the way. So the moniker is, and how it goes is, the EOD manual, the EOD Bible, everything. It's written and made in blood. Off of the mistakes of the text is how everything and how we do everything is how it is now.
Right.
So the culture in of itself is small. It's small.
Yeah, it's got to be small.
Within that, you have, it's even smaller for women texts. Some of the best texts I know are female texts. And how I got into it was because of a female tech. And that single mom and a diver. So just understand exactly how badass this woman is to do what it is that she did.
But I didn't do it by myself. It's amazing. Had I not had the support of my family, because I didn't have a spouse.
Oh,
I was
right.
extremely lucky to have a spouse. I didn't have a spouse. My sister came and lived with me and essentially became, we called her my wife. So I could deploy. So I could actually go to EOD school and could do the things that I needed and wanted to do. Had I not had that family support, it wouldn't happen.
Sure. So you go from, I get the torpedo man's mate. It's like your entry level. You get in there, you learn stuff, you figure out what you want to do, and then you go into something that's so specialized. It's like, oh, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL for a few years and then move on from there. Now, I don't mean to. That's probably like, you don't say that to a Navy person, like, oh, they suck or whatever. But the point of it is, being a Navy diver is kind of like that's in that field. That's you're at the peak. So how do you go from that where you can have a totally badass career diving to EOD tech? Like where does that happen?
Now I get to do a totally badass career underwater and get to blow things up. Whereas as a hard hat diver, I just, you drop it, we find it. You need it, we'll cut it up, bring it to pieces, and you can have it back.
Okay.
Whereas EOD, I find it, I'm just gonna blow it up right where it's at. I gotta worry about it.
So were you an underwater EOD person? Is that like a specialty?
They do underwater. After they go through the school, like I said earlier before we were on
the
air.
Navy's the only one that is underwater. All the other services,
so every
they
branch
graduate, but
every
the
branch
Navy,
has its own specialty. So Army does stateside response. So they take care of any response that's stateside.
And majority of chem bio stuff, Army takes care of.
The Marine specialties, they're the only ones that can demill and make things inert.
Okay.
If it touches water, it belongs to the Navy. And anything that's on like the airstrip, then that's Air Force EOD. And they pretty much
and nuclear. Anyway, Air Force does nuke.
Yeah. So every branch kind of has its own little lane.
Okay.
Per se.
That's and
cool. I did have an answer to your question. We did have 3 Coast Guard go through EOD school way back in the 40s. Only 3, and that's the Coast Guard fell under the Navy, and we have 1 Coast Guard on the EOD Memorial Wall. Just 1. So that's like betting beer that we have 1.
Well, there's another question I had about that. So did you, speaking of SEALs, I was joking earlier, but did you guys train with UDT? Is there a difference between UDT and what you were doing?
Difference. We just simply say they put them on, we take it off. So they would actually be trained to put an explosive in place, and the EOD would be trained to go in and take it off. So
that's pretty awesome.
I've worked with them. I've been on deployments with them and done cool things with them, but we like essentially train together. The same Kool-Aid. Oh, and yes, there are some EOD guys that did go through SEER school. I said not it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Maybe does it like up in Maine or something like that.
I don't even remember where. They just said, hey, do you want to? And I said, oh, hell no. But there were some of my guys in my debt that did go.
You know, it's funny. I had to have a tooth pulled last year because I got hit in the face so hard at SEER training, and they patched it up wrong. Yeah. And it took 15 years or however long it was that I was in. But that's neither here nor there. So I know nothing about EOD. So next questions are going to be like, let's find out. Let's be like, you know, when you're at the bar and someone's like, so you're EOD? Let me ask you some questions. So in my mind, right, it's akin to solving a puzzle, but the idea in my head is if you're solving a puzzle, then there's stuff you don't know and you can lose. Do you guys approach it like, I need to know every single thing about this, and you're really just kind of following a procedure, or are you solving a puzzle as you disarm a bomb?
Both.
Yep.
Both of those.
It's both.
I think a perfect example, not an example, but just I don't know. We call it like kind of a cat and mouse. The bad guy, he makes an IED or he makes something, and we go in and we're like, oh, okay, we can do this, or we can figure this out, and we figure it out. And the bad guy says, oh, damn it, they figured that out. And so they change it. So we go back in and we're like, oh, well, this is a whole new problem. Let's figure it out using some of the procedures, safeties, examples that we learned before, but it's a whole new problem. So we get to figure out this puzzle, and then it's a cat and mouse game.
Okay.
You just keep playing.
We have, you know, the term flying by the seat of your pants. What that comes from is people who don't trust their training or trust their instruments, right? So flying by the seat of your pants is deadly. You don't ever want to fly with someone who flies by the seat. It sounds cool, but no, that person will kill you. And I was assuming, like, if you're dismantling a bomb or whatever you call it, deactivating a bomb or disposing of one, you don't want to be flying by the seat of your pants. You want to be trusting your training, trusting your or is there a bit of woo in it? Is there a bit of like, oh, I'm thinking this?
You trust your training, but you also trust your gut in it at the same time, because it's when you do things a certain amount of times, and like, you know, you send the robot down, and you trust your team first and foremost, like your team, because they're your other set of eyes. Because when you put on that stupid suit, and it's the bomb suit, we used to call it the stupid suit. It's hot, so you're in that stupid suit and you're walking down. Your training is there, and you're thinking about it, but at the same time, you have these other set of eyes that are watching you, and the bomb maker could be watching you too at the same time.
Yeah.
But you trust your gut. You go off of history. You go off of, you know, what's been learned up to that point, but you also go off of like something doesn't feel right. You get that tingle, trust it.
Okay.
You know, and you either back out or you just say, okay, well, we got to try something different here, or, you know, blast and keep moving. Like it's. You gotta have to play the game, because like Mo said,
talk a little bit closer to your mic.
Because like Mo said, you figured out how they're doing it, so they're like, okay, they figured that out. So now I'm gonna throw this little wrinkle.
Okay. So
now you have to come up with something new to defeat that. So it's constant learning. Like the enemy is a lot smarter than people give them credit for.
Are bombs like, so you have planes are planes, cars are cars. There's differences, right? Batteries are batteries. There's differences, but they all kind of do the same thing. Is that the same with bombs, or is there just tons of variation? And if that's the case, how do you keep up with that?
Both Frank and I are like, oh my God.
Oh, dude.
Yes, there are differences. I mean, there's landmines, there's grenades, there's pros, there's, you know, TP bombs, there's that. But it just takes that one smart guy to say, hey, I can take this Projo and I can make it into a, you know, all of a sudden it's an IED that might do something completely different of what you think that Projo is going to do. So they are what they are, but they're not.
Were IEDs, VBEDs, all that stuff, were they something new to the war on terror, or were these used historically? I mean, like, think about the Boer War, or all the way back to the Civil War.
They've been used since Vietnam. Yeah, they've been. I mean, you could even go back further into medieval times, and booby traps were very, very common. It's just how hard you want to make them, how advanced. Yeah.
If you can think it, then you can do it. It's how diabolical your brain is.
Yeah.
And The crazy thing is, my first deployment, we were in soft-shelled Humvees, jungle rolled up, just rolling down the road, not a care in the world. And it wasn't until we got back, and then all of a sudden this IED thing, and we're like, what in the world's an IED?
Yeah, I remember when they started.
Were everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's
the Irish were doing it too.
Yeah.
Northern Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of assholes with those. They, for a few months, they were trying to hit aircraft with IEDs at the approach into the runway. I never saw one, thank God. But yeah, they would bury these things and blow stuff up as the planes came in. I mean, they're always, I just lost my pen. Oh, I got a backup. Always have a backup pen. There's my advice. That's your advice for the day. Let's look here. More questions. How much of a psychological impact, besides the physical impact, how much of a psychological impact does ordnance play? Like, do you not even have to blow, like, because we flew over it, and all these people who drove the convoys and stuff, I mean, I imagine a lot of that PTSD is wondering, are you going to blow up? Are you going to hit something?
We can play the what if game all day.
Yeah.
What if I walk across the street and a car hits me?
Yep.
Yeah.
What if?
And after a
what
while,
if I don't wake up?
After a while, you just kind of, it sounds, and a lot of people think it's sick and sadistic, and my wife hates when I bring this up, but after a while, you get the mentality of, and the model really kicks in, it's the initial success or total failure. And the thing is, like, if this thing blows up, it's literally not my problem anymore.
Right.
And I'm not going to know. So it's kind of like, it's a messed up way to think about it, but it works. That's where it is.
The what if, my own personal mental issues was that was probably the biggest thing. Getting shot at was actually like, if someone threw a missile at you, it was like, finally, there it is. I can see it. I can react to it. We can do our training and we can defeat it. Right. But the wondering, the looking, what's that truck doing over there? Right. What are those people in the field over there doing? What's happening? And 99.999% of the time, they're just farmers. They're just truck drivers. They're just whatever. But that what if, man, that gets inside your head and it can break a troop. How did you deal with it, Melissa? Any of that what if? I mean, did you just say, it's out of my hands, trust my training, or did you stress over it?
I didn't stress over it. And even as a diver, being in like you said, the blackest water. I mean, we call them canurches and caniches. They can hurt you and they can eat you, but I can't see them. I can't determine what they're going to do. It was same with the bomb or any explosive. I just do what I do. And if it's my time, well, let's make it quick. Let's make it, so that's just the way I've always thought about it. And I could what if it to death, and I could worry about it to death and get more gray hairs than I have. So I just didn't.
A friend gave me a Zen book. He was a flight engineer, and he saw that I was kind of spun up, and he's like, just read this. And I read it, and actually helped a lot, getting that kind of like meditation and that just accepting.
I tried meditating. I couldn't do it. I couldn't settle down. I couldn't get my brain to.
Yep. I don't have the patience for it.
It's super hard. Yeah. Mike Stojic.
I've had EOD guys that I've worked with that have come back from deployments and took their badge off and said, can't do it. It's just they couldn't get past the what if. They couldn't get past the constant stress and worry of stepping outside of the vehicle. And But I did not go to Afghanistan or Iraq. I did not get a deployment to any of those. I did not.
Okay.
I didn't get to play.
Let's talk about that for a quick second, because we have a lot of people that struggle. They struggle because they didn't deploy. That survival guilt or whatever. Yeah. I've talked to people on hikes and they're like, man, I'm such this. I never got to deploy. And it's like, I actually just had a conversation. If I know you're watching, I'm not going to say who it was, but I had that conversation today. It's like, I don't deserve it. I didn't deploy. It's like, what are you talking about? Right? Just because, think of it like a magazine, right? You put 30 rounds in your magazine, maybe round 15 doesn't get fired today, but it's willing and able and will still do what it needs to do. So how do you, I guess I'm asking, how do you internalize that for yourself, and does it bother you?
I was very angry that I didn't get to go. I mean, that's what we train to do. That's what we all train to do, is what we want to do. Then I actually started looking at some of the guys that were, Leon didn't go to Iraq or Afghanistan. No. Yeah, so there's a lot of guys in my generation that didn't deploy, and it's not that we didn't want to, we just didn't get to. So I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I mean, I would have loved to do it. but I still did my part doing everything else, because had I not done the deployments that did not go to Iraq or Afghanistan, one of the other EOD guys would have had to, and they're still, so just did what we were assigned to do.
And you still got the National Defense Service ribbon.
Yes,
it's a ribbon or
right?
a medal? It's a medal.
It's metal and a ribbon. I got quite the rack. It's beautiful.
Yes.
It just adds to my rack.
Hey, we don't need
that
to
fruit salad.
Family.
See, you keep throwing your rack out there.
Family show, out of the gutter, everyone. All right, let's talk about
She threw it out there. You can't get mad at us.
Let's talk about the Navy people. We had one Navy guy. Have we had more? No, we've had a couple Navy SEALs and stuff. But we had the smartest, which is the smartest branch competition about 6 months ago. And the Navy guy got destroyed. I feel bad. And if you're watching, I forget his name.
Well, if he was a Navy SEAL, I mean, come on.
No, he wasn't. He was, I don't know what he did. He was like a boat's coxswain mate. The third, fourth.
Yeah, he's a boatswain.
There's all sorts of. No, he was a welder, second class boatswain.
That's a whole technician. That's an
I'm just making stuff up. He said he had the ponytail with the tar in it, and now I'm getting real old school. Okay. Do you know what? I deserve it.
Yes, you do. I was waiting. I'm like, please give yourself the shot and miss.
I don't think I have it.
Yes,
anymore.
you sure do, because I will bring it up.
I don't see it anymore. Oh, there it is. You got to hit play.
Willie.
Willie. I deserved it. Oh, no.
I want to play it again just for you.
No. It's getting late. We have to talk about the EOD Warrior Foundation. The first thing, because I'm going to forget about it. What is special about what are we in, May? Is this May? Yeah. What's special about the month of May that you guys have your, I saw on YouTube, on your YouTube page, you had the memorial. I understand there's like a ball or something coming up. What's month of May for the EOD community?
It's the ball. It was a couple weeks ago. First weekend of May is a nationally acclaimed EOD weekend. It's our one time that we celebrate the camaraderie, the family, the love. We remember fallen. We recognize newly fallen that were placed in our memorial wall. But we have, Friday starts off the golf tournament, a Gold Star luncheon, a huge EOD auction, which is an absolute hoot by my far favorite. Saturday morning is the EOD memorial ceremony. Saturday afternoon is usually a crawfish boil or pig roast, is what we did this year. And Saturday night is the EOD ball. And then Sunday, I put it all away. I start putting it all away.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the first weekend of every year.
It's an inherently, it's a seriously dangerous job. And I know that's stupid. I'm telling you that, but I mean, of the EOD techs that I know, well, now you two are the other two that I know. You guys have all your fingers and toes, but I see Chris Frost won't come on the show, but he's got a pretty interesting story. But he's bilateral below the knee.
Yeah.
What's that? You know Chris Frost?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I rode my bike across the country with
him.
You
motherfucker! If I'm not at this podcast next week and it crashes, you know why? Because I rode my bike home.
I bring up the bike trip all the time, but Chris.
I haven't ridden mine across country yet either, so it's okay.
Oh,
see, now I love it. She can come run this.
Chris used he was a single amputee at that point, but he did a recumbent bike type of deal. It was really cool. But yeah, we got to get you on, Chris. Anyways, why did I bring up Chris again? Oh, I know him, and then I knew a bomb dog, a sniffer, right? So what is that? Bomb dog handler? Canine bomb person. She got blown up, and Chris knows who I'm talking about. So it's an inherently dangerous job. I don't know. I guess I'm just stating the obvious.
Let's just say you get one-off shit. You just get one-off shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what Chris just said. He said on the comments that when I got blown up, it was a relief because the bomb was cleared. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, a good friend of mine, she calls herself, she's like, well, I used to be a hugger until the IED I was hugging and bringing back blew up. So
Mary.
Mary Day.
Mary. No arm.
One of the greatest young ladies you will ever meet. Best sense of humor.
Oh my gosh.
On this planet.
On range 15.
She's super cool as hell.
And range 15. Yeah, cool as shit. Gamer. Yeah. She plays with her feet. She has an attack cat.
Lots of tattoos. colored hair. She's amazing.
Amazing young lady.
Get her to come on the show. I'd love to talk to her. I really just want to talk to her about Range 15.
I was her instructor in school.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Nice. She come running up to me at the weekend with no arm. No, and I'm like, how do you know who you are?
I knew she had a good sense of humor when that scene where they throw a set of keys to her.
Yeah, she's just trying to pick them up.
She's trying to pick them up with her teeth. That's insane. And she's the daughter of the general or whatever.
Like you've never. Every day, like I go to her page just so I can laugh. She's always got something on there that's gonna make you laugh.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the EOD Warriors Foundation. When did it start, and what was its mission, or what is its mission?
Sherri's been with this since day one. So
yeah, I guess so. You can show me
that stuff. Yeah, I have one. All right.
I think you guys are doing this on purpose.
That's Jeremy. I'm the professional one here. I say.
I'm the comedic relief. We need this.
There you go. So in 2007 is when I actually started working in the nonprofit space of helping EOD technicians and their families. And in 2013, two foundations merged to form the EOD Warrior Foundation. The Wounded EOD Warrior Foundation and the EOD Memorial Foundation. One was kind of doing everything for wounded service members and families, and the other was doing scholarships to also taking care of our Gold Star families and honorary families. So, and the memorial. So in 2013, those two foundations merged to form the EOD Warrior Foundation. So it was a great move for the community because we have an organization that is, one organization for one career field. And that the EOD survive. So there are four pillars that we use in our organization. The first one is financial relief. The second is scholarship opportunities for dependents of EOD technicians and their families. We've introduced a new plan this year specifically. And then there's the wellness program. That's my pillar. And then we have memorial care, which is those pillars. So we have four, and each of us, we have a very good staff. We have 6 people on our staff right now. So our executive director and development officer are in Atlanta, and then Mo, Caroline, and myself, and our accountant Jacqueline are in this office in the Panhandle. So we wear a lot of different hats, and we all seem to kind of understand each other's job from like the periphery. If we need to get in the weeds, we do that, and we're here to help the family. So that's the mission, and to feel really lucky to be able to have an organization that's only dedicated to the ordnance disposal community.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic. And I just noticed we're after 9. So how can folks learn about it? How can Frank join the EOD Warriors Foundation? Let's get him a membership card.
He already is a member of it because he's a graduate of Mass School. So we don't have like an alumni or a membership card or anything like that. But the matter is, Frank is part of our EOD family, and his part of our EOD family. So if there is ever anything like that, please share the word. If Frank, you ever have a need, family ever has a need, check us out. We do available financial support resources, all kinds of things, events and everything. So if someone wants to learn more about our organization, they can still go to our website, eodwarrior.org. We started a podcast in August called The Warrior, and we're almost 2,500 down. We're getting close. And that is a lot of information about resources. So there are stories of EOD technicians, whether they're current day technicians that's been back in Afghanistan. We have some Vietnam vet reviews. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. So you can find us. So,
yeah,
we don't.
We will definitely put all the links up. Your feed is getting really, really difficult to hear, so I think we have to end it. Like the last 30 seconds were really tricky. But we'll put, with the show notes, we'll put all the links on there. I'll make sure I get the right ones from you. But ladies, thank you very much. Melissa, I want to hang out and drink with you at some point. And same thing with you, Sherri. Not that I don't want to drink with you either, because spouses make the world go round. But thank you.
One more thing, Chloe?
Yeah. Hopefully, if we it's just it's the audio is really difficult to hear, and it's
we'll get closer, super close. You can see all my gray hair. But I just wanted to point out one of the things that makes EOD, the job itself, unique to any other job is it's the only job taught to all 4 services. There is no other job that is shared with all 4 branches. So that's one of the things that we like to 4 services.
That's actually really good.
I love it. All right. Thank you for coming on. And if it wasn't for people like you that share your stories, I wouldn't have a show here. So I basically just hop on the backs of all you people and you tell me your stories and then we are successful. So, all right. Thank you, ladies. Again, really appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Good night. It's like I want to hear it. It's like I'm actually leaning closer.
A lot of it.
You could catch some of it, but man, when the audio goes down like that, it makes it really difficult. But I do have a rundown. I want Frank to do it. But look this is what Frank gave me the other day. So I think this means there's 2 things. I watched The Hurt Locker, and
I'm sorry.
No. Listen. You can't just step over my joke. Frank gave me this, and I watched The Hurt Locker. So I feel like I'm actually an EOD tech.
Don't do that.
I think I'm kind of. Well, listen. I saw Saving Private Ryan, and I think by default, I am a Normandy. I'm a Normandy veteran.
That literally makes you op him.
Yeah, up him. He was the shithead. Yeah, no, shut up. Okay, rundown. Here we go. Speaking of which, The Hurt Locker, love it or hate it?
I absolutely hate it, and just about every single EOD tech will tell you it's the worst movie ever made.
Yeah, even Mo was like, she's like,
That is the worst movie ever freaking made.
Okay, let me bring up this one. Jeff Bridges, Blown Away, love it or hate it?
Never seen it.
Jeff Bridges?
Oh my gosh, you gotta see it.
I love Jeff Bridges.
It's Blown Away. He plays a Irish bomb maker, North Ireland bomb maker terrorist that comes over to the United States under a fake name, and he's in Boston.
I've seen it. I think I've seen it.
Oh, it's from like the maybe mid 90s, and then there's a mad bomber who is, I can't think of the guy. He was the bad guy on. No. He was the FBI agent on the one where Harrison Ford is running around. He's an escaped convict.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, he plays like an actual Irishman. He's got the worst Irish accent, but he goes around blowing up stuff all around Boston. And Jeff Bridges is trying to disarm all these bombs because he works for the Boston bomb place, or he's like SWAT with the Boston Police Department. But great flick. So I guess I say I love it. Is it ever safe to cut the red wire?
Hey, you only try it once.
Like it's either gonna happen or it's not. And if it doesn't happen, if it goes the wrong way, you won't know. Everybody else will.
I mean, everybody else will live to tell that tale.
If you could have one weapon during the apocalypse, what would it be?
Ooh.
A machete.
Yeah, machete or
a hammer.
A machete or a spike bat.
I was thinking katana, or if I had enough ammo, a short-barreled AR-15.
That's the problem.
300 blast.
You never have enough ammo. You never have enough ammo.
That's true.
Yeah, you'll run out eventually.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you can make your own, I guess. You can 300 blackout would be tricky, but do you know what's funny? I was thinking about this today with the machete because I was thinking machete would be good, but machetes. It's sharp, yes, but it's a blunt sharp. So you really got to put some ass behind it.
Or what about one of those hammers with the spikes on the end? With the
tomahawk?
What, a mace?
Not a tomahawk. It's like it's got a flatted hammer. It's got actual like a punch on the other end of it.
Or just claymores, just an endless supply of claymores. Put them around your building and just. I don't know. It's a question.
Oh, your shopping cart is beautiful.
My what now?
Your shopping cart. Your shopping cart.
Things that you want, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if I can get my hands on that. When you were in the service, what was your biggest fear?
My mother.
Your mother and getting out. That's the last two. I would think it's unintended duty. Pregnancy with a lovely lady of Fayetteville. Oh,
I would say Jody, but it's duty. I'm more afraid of duty.
Now that you're out of the service, what is your biggest fear? And we'll let Melissa go first. And then Frank.
Not having the security of a job. In the military, you can get fired. In the civilian world, you can get fired and escape.
That's true. That's true. Unless you are a Space Force commander who talks badly about Marxism. What? We can't get political. Sorry. Let's keep moving on. No politics. But he did get fired for that. He did. Which is weird. Who do you most admire and why?
Living or dead?
Doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Frank. Take it.
My parents. My dad, who was in Florida, and my mom who passed away. Amazing, amazing people. My dad taught me the ethic of work, and my mother taught me how to be a gentleman. My mother never knew what a door handle felt like whenever I was around.
That's because I always think about what if I'm raising a couple assholes? Like, what if down the line they're just like, oh my God, where's my cell phone? I'm like, what? Who are you?
I always try to this neighborhood. I'm just kidding.
I always try to raise good people, but I'm wondering, like, what was the secret? Just modeling? Your dad just modeled the proper behavior.
Watching how my dad, treated my mother, and then watching her, build him up. And and lead and guide at the same time.
Yeah.
Like they both took turns leading and guiding, and watching my dad literally tell my mother said she loved roses. So my dad made the pledge, whenever you look out of a window, you're going to see a rose. So this man planted rose bushes in front of every single window. And people don't do that anymore.
See, that's so cute. And I respect my mother for all the different reasons, because my father left when I was 8, and there's 6 kids in my family. And we're 3. So they're still below me. So my mother taught me how to be an independent woman, and if I want something done, I go do it. If I want something made or bought, I make it, I buy it. I don't ever wait or depend. So that's funny that we both respect our parents, but for completely different reasons. But they think work ethic. My mother taught me to work. I work.
I teach my daughter jujitsu on the regular, and I want her to be deadly by the time she's 12. Did you see that video where the guy tried to kidnap an 11-year-old girl and she fought and she got away? That's what I want my daughter to snap shoulders if someone tries to do that.
Nice.
So those are the things.
But yet still get a boyfriend.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, willfully or not, you will be my boyfriend.
That's true. That's true. That's all. No. I always like to ask this one. It doesn't matter who answers first. The greatest music band, I guess we'll go with. Could be an artist, could be a band. What's your favorite of all time? Go.
It's a hard one. I've got too many. There's too many.
Yeah. You got to pick one. You're going to be on a desert island, and you can only take one.
Okay. If you say Nickelback, you can't come back.
I'm going to go with. Wow, I got to take it really, really old school. I'm going to show my age, my grays here. I'm
on a desert island.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, especially the Earth, Wind, and Fire horns.
Play that pumpkin white boy.
Oh man, who did that? Was that was that Average White Band? No.
It took me a long time to realize that he was actually white. I always thought he was black, but he's a white dude.
I thought it was Average White Band, but I don't remember. Two very good answers. I would say every week we try to. Last week it was Metallica. That's a tricky one. Dude, totally Dave Matthews. Like I would just.
It depends on the mood too, because I can go from the Earth, Wind, and Fire and Earth, Wind, and Fire horns to being like, oh man, I gotta listen to some OTAP.
I have.
It just depends.
You know what's funny? OTAP. I have a list of music that some of it I don't even like, but I want in case something happens to me, I want my kids to look at that list, and it's my top greatest songs ever. And it's like I mean, I have Etta James on there. I have Metallica on there. I have...
He's got Spice Girls, Shania Twain, Britney Spears.
No, they are not. They do not make it on there. Neither does Taylor Swift.
That's a lie.
And now I'm kind of curious to pull it up. I mean, it's like every time I hear a song that I'm like, oh, yeah, that has... Like Queen. What's his name there?
Queen.
Queen. He's the greatest vocalist that I think ever lived.
You mean Prince?
Prince is on there.
Being the greatest vocalist of all time.
Purple Rain. Come on. Purple Rain. I just sang. I mean, it's time to quit.
We just lost all our viewers.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out the show. Thank you for our guests. Next week we got a packed show. I'm going to have to be on my A game for this one. No joking around at that one, Jeremy. Look at making rack jokes when we have the EOD Warrior Foundation on here.
It is a joke.
I had a video. I was going to play a video for us out here, but let me just quickly look to see. Oh, yes. I remember what it is. This is wild. Did we go over this last week? I keep forgetting if we did or not. The Army has a new, instead of NVGs, they have augmented reality goggles. Insane. Like when you look at it, it's not what you're thinking. When you see it, you're going to be like, that's crazy. But can you imagine going to battle wearing these? Check out irreverentwarriors.com. Sign up for a hike. We've got tons of hikes. We're going to get Melissa on a hike. It's only for veterans. However, Sherri, you can volunteer for hikes. Go over to irreverentwarriors.com and check out the list of hikes. Go over to 21 Gun. Don't forget, if you're suffering from TBI, if you have anxiety, PTSD, anything crazy like that, let's say you got hit by a baseball when you were 12 and you still have issues, send me an email, kevin@21gun.net. It works. It's great. It's thousands of dollars worth of treatment for free. So make sure you reach out to me for that and call, text, phone, send smoke signals, do everything to get in touch with people you served with, even if they get annoyed by it, because you never know when you're going to save a life or touch somebody. So with that, let's go out with the augmented reality.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's edge detection. That's literally edge detection.
Can't even see the flash. Like, that's crazy. There's no, like, NVGs that would have just washed out your...
Yo,
check out the tracers. That. Watch the tracers. It's pretty sweet. Is that an M249? What is that? M60?
No, it's a 240.
240?
That is awesome.
Isn't that great? Look, you can see. I mean, how great is that?
That is awesome.
So those are the new Army's augmented reality goggles. Welcome to the 21st century where you can kill people with the coolest equipment.